Okay, Shalom. What is 100% called law? Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach his truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick, as you look at the screen, this is an actor. I don't know his name, but he's been in a few things. He actually was the guy, if brothers could remember far back in the first Hangover, the Hangover movies, he was the guy in the first one who got lost. Doug or whatever, right? So anywho, fast forward, this show, this is a picture, this is a still from a show called Atlanta created by Donald Glover, all right, also known as Childish Gambino. Now in this picture it's a picture from a clip of the show Atlanta in the most recent season, which is I believe season 3. Okay, and if you watch it, you could tell that, they went a different direction as far as like they had like little separate branch off episodes that wasn't really sequential to the storyline. Okay, and this was one of them. And the episode was actually called The Big Payback. Now I have to actually myself have to watch it again, but in this episode, The Big Payback, this guy, he worked for a company and basically, if you want to watch it yourself to get a good, good take on it, it's season 3, episode 4, and the episode is called either The Big Payback or The Great Payback, something like that. I know it's something payback, so if you see payback, it's this episode. And basically what was happening in the episode was Jokers was so-called white people, Edomites, were basically finding out that had to find out if their ancestors owned slaves back in the day. Now the only thing is, what happened was when they owned slaves, they actually had to pay back the present relatives, which are the people living now. So basically, like he would have to. There was an episode of a chick named Shanika just kept following around talking about you owe me $3 million, yada yada yada. So anyway, basically the Edomites. The reason why I'm bringing up this episode is the Edomites were actually scared if the ancestors owned slaves, because that means they have to pay back pay back black people basically. And of course, that's not gonna happen. It's all fantasy. At the end of the day, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, has a reparations. But at the end of the day, it goes to the point of the spirit of how these Edomites are feeling about the topic of slavery and how they're feeling guilty and really how they're feeling scared. Because I don't really think they're feeling guilty as much as they're feeling scared, or maybe like, nervous about like what could come of this. You know what I'm saying? But of course, the Lord always hardens their heart and puts their pride above, all right, their guilt and what's the other word to use? Their guilt and nervousness. Okay, at the end of the day, we know what it is. So this really goes up to the higher ups. Okay, it goes up to you elites. Okay, because you're the ones that's calling the shots, and you're the ones that foreran all of this shit that's going on in Babylon and Esau. You represent Esau's kingdom. Okay, and now what the episode basically showing was that these Edomites were scared to have owned slaves back in the day. Because now, fast forward to now in real time, in the topic of slavery, they want to rid it out of the school curriculums. Okay, they basically want to act like it didn't happen, or they want to act like it went a certain way that it didn't. They basically kind of like tweak the story, which is basically trying to say that Jake, us so-called Negroes, came over here willingly, and that we weren't slaves, and it wasn't horrific as they shown. But if you look at the pictures that brothers had, if you look at the pictures that's out on some like just the regular, the popular ones, it looks fucked up. You got people with their whips, their heads, their backs whipped up, hangings, lynchings, man, the mutilations, man. There's a book called 100-Year Lynching that says otherwise on these devils trying to say it wasn't that bad. And that book was actually after slavery. So basically in this episode, I don't want to vent too much, I'm gonna get the scriptures, but basically what's happening is Esau's feeling the guilt of his past transgressions against the children of Israel. All right, because he doesn't feel guilty about what he did against nobody else. But when it comes to the nation of Israel, it's a spot to Esau that's very, very delicate, man. And he basically is always trying to destroy us and always trying to keep us down. All right, because as much as we stay down, they stay up. But at the end of the day, Lord is like putting the spirit on Donald Glover to have that episode of basically like a payback of slavery, even though it's not going to go out like that. That's still the vibration that's being put out there. And they actually said, I don't know if it's this episode. There was an episode of something that was like, it wasn't really, they wasn't really feeling it. And, what it is, what it is, you know what I'm saying? We weren't feeling the slavery you put our ancestors in. And the one, you know what I'm saying? Because being that we know of reincarnation and we know that we were back then there in slavery, man, you can't escape it, man. And you're reaping the benefits off of what your ancestors did. Okay, so you can't just walk away because you reaped the exact benefits of slavery, man, and privilege. Okay, the same privilege you had back then, you still have it now. And it might be fading away, but it's still there. Okay, and we're still under captivity under these devils, man. But you see the vibration they're trying to, they're trying to cater to Jake. They legalize weed. That was what, to keep Jake down, man. Because they know Jake is wise to do wickedness, man. And even though, it is what it is, whatever. Motherfuckers was doing their thing with the weed anyway. But the fact that they legalize is going to put Jake at a certain kind of level of pride and peace and safety. Okay, and then these devils gonna come rolling in with that fierce fire, with that fierce wrath, that Revelation 12 and 12. So I'm gonna get to the scriptures real quick, and Lord willing, this be edifying. Now this is Job chapter 20, verse 10, and it reads, "His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods." Now even though they're not gonna give us reparations, but what's happening is they're basically trying to cater to us because they feel guilty and they're nervous, and they should be nervous because really the nervousness ain't really started till the prophets came on the scene, man. Okay, now that the prophets on the scene telling you about what you're doing and what's going to happen to you because of it, now you have to speak on it. Just like the chariots, man. You when you have some people steadily speaking on something, you can't just ignore it. You can't just ignore it now. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the Lord has his prophets all across the four corners of the earth. So everybody, Esau, Jake, these heathens, they all seen the prophets prophesy against this place, man, and prophesy in history. Talking about the history, going into facts, going into real stuff, going into not no playtime, man. Okay, we talk about the things that the Lord has set to show the world what He's about to do as far as His judgment, man. And these devils are numero uno on his. Well, actually, Jake. So he's gonna start with Jake first, but after he ends with Jacob's judgment, he's gonna go right to Esau, man. Because he's that wicked, he's that prideful man, he's that beast. He's the one that kept our people down, man. That furthered the affliction. That was these devils, man. So you go back into slavery, what they did to our people, what the so-called Native Americans, what Christopher Columbus saw, like, in the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, Persian Empire, Babylonian Empire, man. We was getting our asses kicked, man. So now the Lord is about to redeem us and slap the hell out of these devils, and they're gonna be looking like this guy. This is Esau, man. This is how he should look, man. And if you watch this episode, Atlanta season 3, episode 4, you're gonna see what it is, man. If you have use your spiritual eye, it's a couple gems in there, man. Like this guy's face says it all, man. Just think about it. You're going down. You seeing your kingdom go down, okay? You seeing the curses. You seeing what niggas going through that you're starting to go through, okay? Because every Edomite is not living high in the hog, man. They not. Okay? And this guy, he was a regular Joe Schmo. Worked at a company. The company had a big meeting saying that, you basically check your check your lineage or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because it was about to go down, man. And Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah is about to bring that judgment. Okay? Matter of fact, since we on it, since we went through captivity on all these because we've gone through an ordeal. We've gone through an ordeal that the Lord put us through, and He's the only one that could take us out. So no matter how much these Edomites try to act like they're nice, these heathens try to act like they're nice, that's all, just take that as a gift from the Lord, man. Okay, so what we went through, so and the Lord gonna get these other nations too, man. But Esau's the one that's ruling over the world right now, so you have to focus on him. But at the end of the day, the whole earth is going to see the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, real soon. And He's judging this place, this whole earth, man. Look what He's doing, man, especially here in America, where all the nations are. All the nations are still in America right now. You got all the nations here, man. Okay, so they see what's happening, and they see what's happening. They're like they're trying to get their ducks in a row, trying to make sure that they don't lose out, because it's that divine intervention, and they seen the prophet. So it's like, what can we do? They speaking facts, and that's the thing about the truth. Like, we speak facts. We're not out here on the corner doing rap battles, man. Okay, we out here going into things, man. Going into topics that's real life stuff that people don't want to touch on. People try to ignore. You can't ignore and deny these things that's coming to pass as far as biblical prophecies, man. Okay, but anyway, the book of Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 21. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. Let's talk about the Israelites. It says, so the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day and forward. Now, why didn't the Lord say the heathens too? He said the nation of Israel, because what? That's his chosen nation. And that's the same chosen nation that Esau has been shitting on all this time, man. And it says, verse 23, it says, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies, so they fell all by the sword. Now that's very important, because that's what's happening now. We're still playing that out in the hand of our enemies, man. You got these heathens, they set up shop in our neighborhoods, profiting off of us. These devils profit off of us. Jacob tried to scheme on each other, man. We're just a target to the world, man, because of what? These curses and because of our disobedience to Yahweh. Okay, that's why this is happening to us. So and that's why it hasn't ended yet, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has not uplifted the sentence. Okay, so reading on, and it says, verse 24, it says, according to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, his holy name. So the name does matter. You can't just call him whatever you want. And it says, after they have borne their shame and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. So this is proof right here that the Lord did not choose everybody, man. He's not gonna give his glory and his great name and his power to all the nations, man. Only the nation of Israel. He just said it. Because he said he's gonna be sanctified in the sight of many nations. That's the rest of these heathens. The same heathens that seen us go down in captivity under these devils, and for a time under some of them. Okay? And it says, then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. So the Lord is going to gather up the whole nation of Israel, because he's going to destroy the 2/3. He's going to deliver the elect in the 1/3. They're going to come back in the kingdom. The 2/3 that died over here, they're going to come back, and that's how the nation is going to be put back on track. And that's how the nation of Israel is going to be put back on righteousness. And it said, neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord. And that's what's starting with the prophets, man. And he says what? He says he's not going to hide his face anymore. So that means that the Lord is not going to put us into captivity, and the Lord is not going to have us smitten by our enemies no more, man. Because why the Lord said what? He's going to put the law in our inward parts. He's going to put it in our hearts. He's going to put it in us. Okay? It's going to be built in us. Okay? It's going to be built in every nation of Israel, kinsman and kinswoman, man. And that's what we waiting for. That's what we need. That's why it sucks here, man. Because this is still playing out. But the Lord is slowly turning it, and it's going over to these heathens, man. So, with that, hopefully this is edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.